Our intention is for the weekend. And this panel discussion, these 4 different points of view on life is another. And I really diversity of people and perspectives. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dalton. I am an adult performer. I'm a certified life coach. I call myself a sex therapist because I have been, since I was 21, I began to ask male-male relationships, what makes it work? Why'd you break up? I would ask questions like, what's the top 3 reasons you've been together 30 years, 26 years, 3 years? And so for all these years, I'm amassing this data. It's my favorite thing. It's just what I love. And our mascot is coming up the stage. We love the kitty. And doing fornication parties is just another level of that, the length and such of that. So I'm just going to introduce myself the way I'm going to say this is I'm a leader causing leaders, creating shameless self-expression and sexual freedom. Everything in my life fulfills in some way of the interest of those 3 things. My portion of tonight's talk is about cruising and consent. Since the onset of, since apps came into being, there's this conversation of mostly gay men my age. And so, oh my God, these apps are killing the cruising. Where do we get sex? How can we get laid? And here's what we know. Most of us, when we began to come out and experience our interest or start to express our interest to other men, it was through quiet, subversive, don't let anybody see me kind of ways. And for me, it was in Canton, Ohio, at the adult bookstore. And I'm just going to say this, the first 3 weeks in a row, the first 3 guys I ever played with whispered through the glory hole, meet me outside, took me to the same park bench, and played 3 weeks in a row, 3 different guys. So of course, what I did with each of these 3, after we were done, I would they were like, okay, we're done, and I'm like, we're all gonna meet guys. So the questions, the curiosity, where can we do this? How can we do this? But I enjoy the parks. I enjoy the adult bookstores. I enjoy the bars. Going to the bar and, who's gonna be interested in me and who am I gonna be interested in just exploring that, And so we have to start somewhere. And many of us, we do it weird, we do it wrong, then we do it right. So the number one thing I can say is be kind to ourselves. Allow ourselves to explore. Give ourselves the space to explore. I'm going to fast forward into, so just like today, what I say is I still predominantly get experience myself, other than my work on my own time, my sex comes from cruising. Everywhere I go, I risk someone saying no. All the time. All the time. It's not unique to your body type. It's not unique to your religion. It's not unique to your hair color.
Absolutely.
It's not unique to where you live. Where you live and cruise does dictate the flow, the energy. More of this, less of that. The trick is to be real about where we're at. I cruise in Atlanta differently than I cruise in New Orleans, and then I cruise in San Francisco, then I cruise in, Edmonton, California, Edmonton, Alberta. Be real about where we're at and who. So when it comes to cruising, the first thing I like to say is people who say, I don't know if he's into me. Bullshit. Okay? This barometer down here that we were given as a human being, you're not listening. So start paying attention to this, not the gut, but it's kind of the gut, not the heart, and certainly not the head. This will talk us out of anything. Or try to talk us into something. Or we know it's a no, but we're like, yes, but no, he didn't really look at me that way, So this barometer, and the barometer is never really loud. It's just kind of a quiet, yes, no. It's just kind of a steady. So the number one thing is, whenever you think you don't know, just remember my words, yes you do. And then you ask the question, what am I not seeing? What's in front of me? What kind of filter do I have that I'm not seeing the yes or no? Now, I've actually talked to guys who, I'm going to be honest, their vibes are completely confused, and 100% of the time, their answer is, I don't know what I'm looking for. So sometimes I'll get, so sometimes it's really, truly, they don't know what, right? Predominantly, I'm speaking in generalities. The thing is, in cruising, if someone has not given you eye contact, it is inappropriate for you to go up and grab a dick. Okay? If they give you the eye contact and come back, there's the opening to a yes. If they give the eye contact once, it means they're scanning the room and they move on. So there's that. It's that extra lingering eye contact. It's the extra coming back eye contact. It's you've cruised around again and they look at you again. Thumbs up. But if they're doing this, don't approach them from here because that's not consent. Now, if you approach them here and stand and wait, and then you open it up, like that's different conversation. So then you can actually, now you've, engaged. So it's really about being respectful. The bottom line with cruising and consent, it's just respect. Consider that everything that I talk about, the concrete I stand on has the word respect on it. That is never a negotiable conversation. Ever. I don't speak in absolutes except when referring to absolutes. Redundant. Like, where is it okay to not be respectful? You heard me in the story about fucking. When is it really okay not to be respectful? When is it okay to be out cruising and be disrespectful? And this is how I see myself. I've gotten a no. I think I've gotten a no from somebody, but I've placed myself somewhere else where they might not have seen me, and maybe they'll give me a yes. But after doing that 2 or 3 times, I walk away and I move on. I hate it. Feels shitty. He's the one I want. Move on. And sometimes that means I don't get any sex that day. It's okay, because I walk out knowing, like, I have self-respect. I have that. I care. I care about myself. I care about him as a human being. The one thing we as human beings were given, that no matter what belief system you have, religiosity or atheism or societal, the one thing that I've never had anybody ever convince me that is not so is the power of choice. The universe gave us the fundamental power of choice when we were born, and it goes through us through the rest of our life. That's not an opinion, that's not, and so if we believe, if we stand in that, then if I want you to allow me the power of choice, meaning yes or no, then I get to give you the power of choice, yes or no. I maintain that someone who is disrespectful in cruising to me, it allows other people to be disrespectful in cruising to them. So it's front of hand, back of hand. Another thing about cruising, and this is a conversation I had earlier today, is, remember I said earlier about the fucking? Be the one. Be the confident one. Be the one who knows who they are. Know who you are. Be clear on what your intention is, and be clear on you. Who are you as a human being? I told you who I am. I'm a leader causing leaders, creating shameless self-expression, sexual freedom. What's yours? Who are you? What motivates you? What inspires you? Have that being is what approaches that person and goes out looking for sex, looking for those human interactions which are deeply spiritual no matter where they are. Because you can be in a bar and you can take them home and you never know that could be your next life partner. Do you want to start on a base of disrespect or respect? And so cruising. I'm not sure how else to say other than I look for cruising. I look for places. I enjoy the hunt. I personally believe apps are apps, and you get a certain something from the apps called hookups, but there is a component that's a little bit missing. Yes, you risk yourself the yes or no. Or you risk the no, so what we're really talking about. But you miss the hunt. We're hunter-gatherers by nature. Scoping it out, looking, driving around the cruising place 2 or 3 times before you go in. How many times have I done that? Yeah. There's a little energy. There's a what's the word? Adrenaline.
It's exciting.
Yes.
It's
endorphins. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. He doesn't know anything about endorphins.
Or cruising, for that matter.
Preach. That you get, and it's actually part of us as a human being, how we experience it and express it, and how we manage it. If I know myself to be respectful, I'll see where I'm out of whack in that, keep myself in check. But at the same time, and so that's where many times sex addicts are I'll say produced. I like that word. I used to call myself a sex addict until I embraced that I was born highly sexual. Then I got that I am responsible for my high sexuality, therefore the expression of making a difference in the lives of people. And and my sex addiction went away because now it's channeled in positive outlets and makes a difference. And there's fulfillment. That's what this, my tattoo right there says fulfilled. And that's the adult work that I do. It's based on that. So, cruising and consent. I don't know that there's anything more that I need to say about consent other than check in. If you're not sure, the answer is most likely no. And I'm going to leave you with you. In today's society, we're taught you have to get a verbal consent. In my experience, the verbal should be the last. Because if you really, really don't know, by all means, ask. That's my spiel. Now, questions. So this is a question and answer portion. We're going to go down the line and speak, but with each one, come up with questions, and then we'll also have general questions at the end. So, anybody have questions? Okay.
When it comes to cruising, are there consistent body language triggers, things that you look for to avoid or to count on
Thank you. Jane's asking about when cruising, are there certain general body language positions, I'm gonna say? Closed arms, keep the fuck away from me. Hands in pockets, really unsure. Loud talking, definitely not sexual. Or nervous as fuck. I'm gonna say one of these, and this is where it's, and especially when it comes to group sex. Slings. There's a term, sling something? When someone sits in a sling? Sling lizard. Sorry. Not to shame, that would be really clear. But it's about cruising and consent. Grab your top, cruise your top, and then go to a sling. Okay, unless there's 500 people and they're just all lined up. No, that's different. But for the most part, when, just cruise. Make that eye contact, go out and get that. And then you go, we're gonna have sex, we're gonna play. Bend over here, jump in a sling. Being in a sling or bent over without anybody lined up, first of all, it's a hot fetish. I get it. I'm honest. But there's also can send a message of desperation. Okay? When you're confident, so remember, step into the confidence, the zone. What's your body language? And make yourself approachable and engage. That's the, I'll say idea. I don't want to paint a bad picture of, I don't want to paint a bad picture of everyone who is just in a sling, because that's not always the case. I'm speaking in generality. So, did that answer your question, Jay? Thank you. Anybody else?
So, I'm sure a lot of you might even have questions, say, like cruising a rest area, or a truck stop, or something like that. I mean, there's kind of old school etiquettes and things that go on with that. As an ex-truck driver myself, spent years doing this, and going into consent just a little bit for it, you could be at a rest area urinal next to somebody. One kind of telltale sign, wagging your penis, he's wagging his penis a little bit. You're kind of linger a little bit, eye contact, like that, like a second look. Like you can kind of look at each other, you're checking things out. I just kind of want to add my 2 cents a little bit on this, but there are little nuances like that. Truck stop, same way, truck stop bathrooms. I mean, I run into a lot of people that ask me about that over the years, like, oh my God, as a truck driver, and honestly, it wasn't as a fabulous sex life as you would think it is. Everybody thinks it is. But there were those times. You're at a rest area at 3 o'clock in the morning. Another driver comes in. I can think of a story, Reno, Nevada, I-80 westbound, outside of Reno. I go in there, I'm taking a leak. This other dude comes in, takes a leak next to me, and we basically ended up in kind of a jack-off session together right there. Nobody was going to come through the doors. Like, we kind of looked at each other, we wag, and it's like, we're watching the door. Nobody's going to come in at 3 o'clock in the morning. He barely came in. You know what I mean? Nobody's there. And it was just this really fun experience. There was consent given. We were on the same page. Because I've also ran into people who can be a little bit aggressive or thirsty in that situation, and they may push that person, and that person isn't looking for it, which comes back to the consent thing. Eye contact, wagging your dick a little bit, and noticing if they kind of respond. There has to be a response. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Really good. And because of what I want to add to that, and that's it's really simple here. Not every man who engages in a sexual act with another gay man is gay. Men are sexual. Men like to check out the next guy's junk. A lot of men are okay. Like that is so common, like every day. I go to adult bookstores and 50% of the people I play with live straight lifestyles. Doesn't make them gay. There's other words, which we won't go into, but, and respect the fact that for some of them, it's a big leap.
Yeah.
Like, suss it out. Anybody else? Questions? Yes.
So you mentioned how the apps are different than like the cruising. So I'm going to make a comment and then kind of pull
Yep.
into a question. So one of the downfalls of the app, as far as my experience, is you don't get the chemistry. You don't get the vibes of a person. You're just seeing pictures.
Yep.
And so you're not getting anything past what they present in that picture. So when you're cruising, how much of the chemistry of a person, you may see each other across the room and then kind of,
Yep.
but then when you get close, it's like the vibes might be off or something like that. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Awesome question. Tricky was asking about when on the apps it's hard to get a chemistry through texting and photo. And in person, does it make a difference in the chemistry? And my answer is 100%. I will say the way a person looks physically in that situation for me is less than a third. And 2/3 is how are they acting? Who are they being? How are they handling themselves? I kid you not, I've been at these adult bookstores with the hottest guy. I won't have anything to do with him. And vice versa. Just the average Joe is just like, and just like, come on, bring it on. Because he's given that respect. It's that mutual where we are,
He's very comfortable too.
And he's very comfortable with himself. He knows who he is. Yeah, so it's all that. So it's the energy, it's the character. And then I will say one more thing in plug for the apps. A lot of what I do is sussing out people via text. You can get a really good feel of how a person is by the choice of words they text. Trust your instincts on this. Any other questions?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you talk a lot about confidence improving. So what are your thoughts about how to confidence, knowing who you are, coming off as too confident, being cocky, or on the complete other side, being a little bit more passive, and sometimes, especially when you're in a crowd, people just coming off as a creeper or kind of social awkward.
Yep. Thank you for the question. The question was about how you come across as confident or too cocky or insecure, like disgust. Barbara's question, disgust. I'm going to start with this. When a person's too cocky, it's insecurity. Confidence is confidence is confidence. It reads pure, it reads clean. They are okay with a yes or a no. Be that person that's okay with a yes or a no. That's who people want to engage with. Insecurity? Listen, we all have insecurities. There isn't a person in here that doesn't have insecurities. Which one's going to win out today? That's the bottom line. Did I answer that?
Maybe to your point of maybe being too pushy, like too confident.
Oh, yeah.
Pushy.
But that's what I mean. The too confident to go pushy is insecurity. No?
Well, I mean, some of these guys, it's like really overconfident. Like they are very, very confident to the point that they actually push too far. I'm sure you probably ran into that.
So Zach's saying that no, they're really confident, and they push too far. And I'm like, oh, they're an asshole.
Yeah.
And I don't use that term a lot.
So, like, for instance, so specifically last night, right, there is an idea of code of conduct, right?
Yeah.
In the industry, you don't want to just assume, but you don't want to just be very standoffish. So, like, when you're in it, you're fine, you got the groove going,
But until-
when you initially get into, like, the environment, you're kind of feeling things out, you don't want to seem like you're kind of like a creeper and kind of socially awkward, and you're just trying to feel things
I got
out,
it.
right?
Trust yourself. Here's how it's done. People say this is like, it's like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but blah, blah, blah. And I just stop and I'm like, well, are you an asshole? And they're like, no, then don't worry about it. You know you're not an asshole, then don't worry about it. The energy of your being. is the first thing that reaches them, your energy, before you can even touch them. Good. I think we've used up this portion, my portion. I'm going to turn it over to Zach.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you.